So a quick recap, this is the TCP/IP model, or layers shall I say. These are the different protocols used on each layer. I'm going to focus on the application layer. What you need to know for our CIE exam board I'm going to add also here BitTorrent are these protocols here: SMTP, POP3, IMAP, SMTP, FTP, BitTorrent, and HTTP and HTTPS. I'm going to talk through each one of these. I'm not going to talk about HTTP or HTTPS because it's too easy. But I'm going to talk about these protocols, then FTP, then finally BitTorrent. So we've got SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and we've got POP3, Post Office Protocol, and we've got IMAP, which I'm going to use later. So let's imagine that you've got Alice, who sends an email to Bob using her email client like Outlook. She hits send, it goes on the internet, it uses SMTP as a protocol to send, it connects to the mail server. Alice's SMTP server will perform a DNS lookup for Bob's domain. So it'll go to another mail server first. In fact, let's add another mail server here. So it gets sent to Bob's mail server. Bob, when he connects to the internet, will type in his username and password to authenticate. Bob's email client will download all the emails which have been sent to him, including Alice's, onto his computer using POP3. When he downloads the email, these new emails, using POP3, the emails which were in the server will get now deleted. So they'll be on his computer, but not on the email server anymore. It's on the device, but not on the server. That is POP3, retrieving the email. SMTP for sending it, POP3 for retrieving it. If we're using IMAP instead of POP3, what would happen is this. Bob will check for the emails. He'll be checking live on the server. Bob will see that he gets an email from Alice. Bob can read the email, and it's read on the server, so it's not actually downloaded to his device. Bob can then, on his device, say he's read it, so mark it as read, which will then update the server. So there's a two-way communication between his computer and the email server to show he's read it all. So this basically means that he can use multiple devices. So he can use his phone, connect to the mail server, read the emails without having them downloaded, update the email status without having them downloaded, whereas POP3 downloads it onto your device and then deletes it from the server. FTP, File Transfer Protocol. It's about transferring files from a client, like my computer, to a server. So look, I'm going to take this picture of Cayman Islands, I'm going to drag it onto a website server, a web server. It's at the moment being transferred. It's now transferred on there. If I go to the URL and I have to type in cayman.jpg, hopefully it should load. Taking forever, so it's paused. And there you go. So that's me transferring files from a client, such as my computer, to a server, which is my web server here. It allows me to transfer files onto it, also download. I can download it from my server to a client. I can modify, so I can rename this. And all of this is done through FTP. This is special FTP software I'm using right now. But the protocol is called FTP to do this. File Transfer Protocol. And the final protocol we're going to be looking at is called BitTorrent. BitTorrent is known as using the network model peer-to-peer. That is the network model for BitTorrent. When we looked at FTP, that was a client to server relationship. BitTorrent is peer-to-peer. What does that mean? Well, let's imagine that we've got all these people wanting to download a movie. So person 1, person 2, person 3, all downloading a movie from the same server. Let's say your server is levin.com. And it's Terminator, the movie Terminator. If the server goes down, these guys can't download the movie. Because I've got so many people downloading the movie, it'll make things slow, because everyone's taking up a chunk of my bandwidth. So that's an issue with this traditional client-server relationship where you've got the clients and you've got the server. In peer-to-peer, what happens is everyone shares the load. In this network, this person might have a Terminator, this person might have a Terminator, and this person might have a Terminator. The rest of these people would be downloading from them the Terminator. But you're doing it from multiple computers, so it's basically means that there's no single point of failure. So if one computer goes down, you've got backup computers. But it's going to be faster as well, because basically you're not taking up one person's bandwidth, you're spreading the load. But also these other people will have things to share as well. So the person who's downloading Terminator, like this guy here, may be sharing the movie, I know, Shrek. And this person might be sharing the movie Shrek. And this person as well. So we call that, using the protocol, BitTorrent. BitTorrent is used for file sharing. I'm talking about movies, but we can talk about anything, games, documentation, whatever it's going to be. So it's BitTorrent is used for file sharing. File sharing using the model peer-to-peer. So what we have here is a program called LimeWire, not around anymore, but it was an example of BitTorrent in action, file sharing. Completely illegal. So how would it work? Well, you would have your network. I'm going to keep it simple, have about 4 computers, all connected to each other. Great. Let's imagine that this person had Terminator on their computer and this person had Terminator on their computer. This person wants to download Terminator, so we type in the search Terminator. What you see here are the search results of everyone who's got Terminator on their computer. But you'll see that not all of these are to do with Terminator 1. It's got the soundtrack, we've got the TV show, this Connor Chronicles. But is this what we want to download? How it works is the following. This calls computer 1, computer 2, computer 3, computer 4. Computer 1, computer 2 have uploaded the Terminator to LimeWire. With that, they've also done a torrent descriptor file. This basically is saying is information about the Terminator, so it'll be like the name, the length, the file type, So we can see here on this image, we've got AVI, which is a type of video. We've got MP3, which is sound. We've got zip, which means it's been compressed. We've got the file sizes, which are here. Now, this file, the Terminator, won't be the full movie. It'll be like a part of the movie. So the file Terminator, so if I write Terminator here, the movie, that file is going to be split into different parts. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. So when I type in Terminator here, I could download Part 1 from here and Part 2 and 3 of that same movie from there. So it splits the workload. This software allows me to see all the different people who've got Terminator. Anyone who's sharing the Terminator is called a seed. So this peer and this peer are seeds. I can then, by using this software, see who's got the file Terminator. This person's got Part 1, Part 2, and 3 of the movie. And I'm going to start downloading. Once I download a part of the like Part 1 to my computer, so I've got Terminator Part 1, this computer now becomes the seed, the Terminator Part 1. Once I get 2 and 3, I become the seed for Parts 2 and 3. My computer will then put them all together, Parts 1, 2, and 3, so I can watch the full movie without any issues. I can pause the download, so let's imagine that I'm going out. I can pause the download and resume it at any time. Also, connected to this peer-to-peer network is a server. But you're not downloading anything from this server, we're downloading things from each other as peers. But this server is a central server. And what does it do? It keeps track. And it tracks all the peers which make up a swarm. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And the parts of the file they have. So, I type in Terminator on my computer. I downloaded Terminator. It goes to the server. The server basically is able to see every single person who's got the Terminator and the different parts of the Terminator movie they've got. A group of computers working together, like this computer and this computer, is called a swarm. So normally you have hundreds of swarms working together. So then the server will say to my computer, which is computer 4, download it from peer 1 and download it from peer 2. They've got the files. I click on download and it starts downloading for me. So the central server keeps track of the peers, the swarm, which have got the different parts of the file. Finally, let's imagine that this person chooses not to share any of their files with LimeWire. They choose to download all the time, but not become seeds at all. So they download Terminator, they download Coldplay, and loads of different stuff. But they choose not to share. They'll be called leeches. If they're leeches, the server will recognize this, and they'll start getting penalties, consequences, like slower download speeds. Because the whole point of peer-to-peer, the whole point of BitTorrent is for people to share with each other. If someone's being selfish and not sharing anything, but they choose to download all the time, they become a leech on the system. So they get punishments such as slow download speed or limited access until they start sharing and becoming the seed. The seed are people who share parts of the file. A swarm is a group of computers sharing the same overall file but all working together. like with Terminator Part 1, Terminator Part 2 and 3. The central server tracks all of this. When you ever upload a file like any of these to BitTorrent, you need a torrent descriptor file, which tells you metadata, we call this, like the name of the file, the length, the file type. This file is then split into pieces. Peers can act as a seed. We can download simultaneously from different peers. That means at the same time. Once a peer has a file, they become a seed for that file as well. The central server tracks all of the peers, the swarms, and the different parts of the file. We can pause or continue at any time at all. And if we download more than what we share, we become leeches, and there are penalties like slow download speeds or limited file access. And that is what you do need to know about this peer-to-peer model for the protocol BitTorrent, which is used for file sharing.